boy, does the saga continue. How's it going, everyone? Shuirozen here. Welcome back to another episode on my Forever World. At this point, man, I feel like I gotta start calling it something else, like tea time with Shuirozen. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not the plan I had for my Forever World at the moment. But it is just... things have been just really crazy for me lately. And I'm sorry to everyone that I let down today. Today's Sunday at the time of recording this, okay? Sunday is usually stream day for me. And honestly, I just couldn't bring myself to stream after my day at work yesterday. So this is going to be a live commentary, believe it or not, okay? Unlike my last one, where we got the microphone fixed, the settings are good, okay? So I apologize for the voiceover I did in the last one, okay? So if you're unfamiliar with the current work situation, you want to catch up on the trilogy, the saga, oh my god, head back a couple Forever World episodes, okay? So I'm going to pick up where we kind of left off last time, which I don't even know where, but let's get into it. So I'm going to do my best to keep my thoughts as, you know, cohesive as possible so they don't get confusing and jumbled up and stuff, you know? So, I was at work yesterday, and everything was going pretty good, okay? You know, new boss, new schedule, unhappy with that. Whatever it is, what it is. It's not going to impact me from doing a great job while I'm at work and stuff, okay? And let's set the stage, right? The company I work for is, we'll call it a local business, okay? Which is owned by probably the wealthiest people in my city. And they have a lot of power because one of the owners, so it's a family-owned business, okay? The one of the owners, we'll just call it like that, right, is like co-mayor, assistant mayor, vice mayor. I don't know what the correct term it is, you know, but so they're on the city council, right? So, which kind of just brings them more power than they already have, being the owners of like the most successful business in my city. It's crazy, okay? Worked up for them for a couple of years, and I'm just a dot to them, right? I'm just a name on a piece of paper. I mean nothing to them. Let's be real about it, okay? That's not what we're here to discuss. But I just want to set the stage. These people, right, kind of have a lot of power. And with power comes great responsibility. No. No. They can kind of control and do whatever they want within their business, right? Ethics. Boy, are we here to talk about ethics, okay? So my interpretation of what ethics are, right? It's, you know, moral compass. Right from wrong, okay? But when it comes to, like, running a business, right? You have to have ethics that you expect your employees to follow and that your business has to follow and, you know, preach is what I think of it, right? That's my interpretation of it, okay? And yes, I went to business school. I have a business degree, okay? Ethics, learned all about it. There's a bunch of different types of them, but let's be real, okay? That's all you need to know. Alright, I just saved you like 2 semesters worth of homework. Anyways, okay, so... alright, so I work for like pretty powerful people in the city I live in, okay? I'm at work last night, and I work with like... I have like 300 coworkers, okay? I don't know all of them. I don't. Like I said, I'm just a name. I'm a dot on a piece of paper. You know, I don't matter in the grand scheme of things to them. However, there's full-time positions, and there are part-time positions. I'm in a full-time position for them. Slave my life away for them. I have no sleep schedule because of them. I'm in at work 4 a.m. some days. I'm leaving work at midnight other days, like I did last night. You know, they don't care. And that's totally okay. Right? I still get paid for all the work I do. I'm rambling on and on. Let's get to it, okay? I'm at work yesterday, right? And like I said, I work with like technically like 300 people, so I don't know all of their names. I don't know their faces. I don't know if I'm talking to somebody and they actually work for the company. Okay? That's my point. So last night, I'm like finishing up stuff, and I get like, I don't want to say this in bad way. Some, I'll call them kids because they're in high school and teenagers, and they're like, hey, I work here now. I'm like, okay. Didn't know you did, but okay. And one of them is like calling me out by name. Right, like there's like a big group of them. I'm pretty much there by myself, just finishing up stuff. And one of them is like giving me like a really hard time, pulling up like my name, pulling up my last name. He's like, bro, like, Shuirozen, you got a cool last name. And I'm like, okay, do I know you? He's like, no, but I work at such and such with so-and-so at you know, such and such address, whatever it is, you know? I'm like, okay, cool. Never met you before, I don't care. And I know a lot of people. Like, I know almost everybody. Not everyone, okay? But I have a really good idea of who is who and who they are and whatnot. I have a lot of connections within the company, okay? Like, great, I've never heard of you. So in my mind, I'm like, you're insignificant. And then one of them is like, I just started here, and I'm like, oh, like, what's your name? You know, so-and-so. Oh, hey, so-and-so, I'm Shuirozen. It's nice to meet you, right? Whatever, I'm trying to finish up my work, and they just start going off and giving me such a hard time, like, trying to abuse, like, the power they have, and they're like, and then the kid's like, that was giving me the hardest of time, Googles my name, and pulls up, I guess I did track in high school with this kid's supposed older brother. Pulling up my name, he's pulling up where I went to high school, he's pulling up my times from when I did track and stuff, and I'm like, you don't work with me, you're not on my team, right? So you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be going around doing that, and you're with friends that don't work here, and you can't be going around giving them, like, looking at like our like work apps, our scheduling, our, you know, group chats that he has access to, and showing them. I'm like, what are you doing? And I explained that. I was like, hey man, like, just, you know, you can't be going around showing people, like, at least, like, their work schedule, and, you know, letting them know when, you know, so-and-so is here, or, you know, whatnot, like, when I'm here. Okay? It's illegal. Right? Great power comes great responsibility, okay? You've got a lot of tools that the company gives you that you need to keep, you know, to yourself. Can't be giving that out, because that's, like, somebody's, you know, well-being that you could be messing with. Like, kind of, I very politely told him that, you know, kind of like how I said it. I was like, just be careful, okay? Like, I don't care, okay? Right? You know, I can handle myself. And then one of them's like, well, I work here, like, so-and-so hired me. I'm like, yeah, you know, I know so-and-so. They technically don't work within the company, but okay. But if the kid was saying that so-and-so hired them, I'm like, okay, yeah, like, they probably do, you know. And then they just start, like, going off and, like, heckling me. I'm like, this punk's, like, I don't care, right? I'm just here to finish my job. But something that, like, ethical-wise and moral-wise with the company that is preached to us is that, like, you know, you have to represent the company well inside and outside of work. Pretty much, like, I feel like every company does that, you know? Like, we want you to be the same employee you are when you're at work as you are outside of work, you know? And I'm like, there's a lot of us, right? It's a very tight-knit group. There's always, you know, like, after work hangout sessions to go to, and, you know, events on the weekend. Like Monday, I have like a work party event. I think right now I'm gonna skip it. I'm just not feeling up to it at the moment. It's tomorrow night. You know, so like we get to do stuff like that, and giving away information, dates and times and locations like that this kid has access to through working for the company is, like, not okay, right? And especially if you're using it and you're just, like, Googling me. Like, I've never seen this kid before. I was like, hey, man, I ran track with your brother. That's awesome. Who's your brother? He said his name. And I'm like, this kid is... He was 17. I'm 23, right? I was nowhere near going to high school with him. He's a senior in high school. I graduated college at 22. I have, like, you know, like, I have a bachelor's degree. I'm nowhere near, like, having to ever met or known this kid before. you know, and his supposed brother, if he is actually his brother, and I just know by name and remember that, like, oh yeah, he's just some dude I did track with, right? I wasn't close to him, anything like that. He was 3 years older than me. So again, I'm like having no connection with this guy whatsoever, really, you know? I got to do track with him for one season before, you know, this dude graduated because he was 3 years older than me, right? So it's not adding up. And I get if a kid just wants to be a punk and give me a hard time, I get it. I've dealt with it at other jobs when I was in high school or college, you know, like punk kids will be punk kids. And then I found out this kid's name. And I'm not going to say it, obviously. But he is best friends with the owner's son. Which means, oh, he has a way into the company, right? I kind of earned my way in. You know, I worked for it, right? And so I'm like telling my boss, I'm like, hey, like so-and-so that supposedly works here. Never met him. I didn't know his name at the time. This happened. He was doing this and this. I know, you know, boss, you wouldn't want me going around and doing this kind of thing. And I'm sure whoever his boss is, whoever his team leader is, wouldn't want him doing the same thing, right? So I was like, I'm not trying to get him reprimanded. I'm not trying to get a resolution or an apology for the way he treated me, right? But I'm like, hey, like, what if like so-and-so was here or somebody else, you know? Because like there's part-time positions, right? And there are, like I said, 17-year-olds, you know, minors, you know, I don't want to say young girls, right? But, you know, it was a group of punk teenager guys. And what if like there was a younger girl, you know, girl that was younger than me there, right? How would that look? That would absolutely not be acceptable. But because I was the one that's there, you know, I'm a quote-unquote adult, right? I don't want to say it's probably okay, but it's a different situation is all I'm trying to say, right? It's a different scenario. It has to be handled differently. And so I'm like telling my boss about this. I'm like, I don't want an apology. It's nothing, right? But I'm just saying, like, if I behaved the way he did, I would have no job tomorrow. And then I found out his name and that he's best friends with the owner's kid. And then it's all coming together. Like, you know, the way he felt so high and mighty above me and stuff. And then the kid that supposedly is about to, you know, start working with me here in a couple weeks or something like that. Supposedly, I don't know. He's gonna be on a part of my team. Was like, oh, you went to school here. Oh, you used to work here like a year ago. I'm like, I did used to work there. It's been well over, you know, 2 years. Like, what are you getting at and stuff? And I'm like, how do these kids that I've never met in my life know so much about me? And I'm like, there's a lot of information that they have on me from work. Not like stuff like that, you know, but like, right? It like, you know, just like basic stuff. They know where I work at. They have my work schedule. They know the people that are part of my team. And from that, right, they can go on like social media and use it and dig up information or whatever, right? Like I said, they were able to pull up my track times, which were supposedly impressive, but that's neither here or there, okay? You know, like that doesn't sit right with me. And so I'm talking to my boss, and I'm talking to like the upper boss above them. I don't even know what to call them, right? They're just a name. There's like, if trouble, you know, they're the people that get call you into the office when you know you're in trouble. It's like, we'll talk to so-and-so. I'm like, no. I want to talk to so-and-so, you know? Like, I wasn't trying to make a big deal out of it, but I was like, dude, like, you know, it's a breach of ethics. And I was fuming. I was, again, so angry. How do I keep getting put in these sucky situations, right? And I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it, because it's not, okay? It is and it isn't, but it's not fair to me. My moral of the story is that it is not fair to me that just because this punk kid is friends with, you know, the kid's parents, he gets to go and do whatever he wants, right? And it's not fair. And I get that's life, right? Life isn't fair. You hear that all the time, right? It's not fair. I wasn't considered for the promotion that was, you know, I was more than qualified for, and my whole team wanted me to get it and voted for me, right? I appreciate that. Like, you know, it was really, really sweet and thoughtful of them. You know, I'm glad that they respect me so much. But all of that means nothing when, you know, the owners have power to go and say whatever they do. So my boss got back to me today. They're like, you know, this is a really sticky situation because so-and-so, the punk kid, is all friends, you know, with the owners. and stuff like that. It's like we can't really say and do much about it. I'm like, that's you what? I'm sorry, you can't do much, right? And like he was like, I'm not going to talk about the conversation and the stuff that we talked about. I'm not going to say it was low-key threatening, but one, I would never let somebody on my team, you know, talk to another employee for the company the way he did, right? My team knows better. And then two, like the things he was saying, I was like, you cannot go around saying that. You cannot use the power you have through work to use that for personal gain. You know, I was like, are you going around to like, you know, he's a kid in high school, right? Are you going around and like digging up all the other information on like girls to try to ask him out or something? Because he was like just talking nonsense. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're making me like concerned. Again, I don't care what he does to me, right? I'm an adult. I can handle myself. But it's my job to look out for like my team, because again, a lot of them are a little bit younger than me, you know. I'm like, and anyone else, I don't care if I work with them or not. Like, you cannot be using this for like the reasons you were doing. And so they're like, well, we'll talk to so and so, like, you know, the big boss that you call him when, you know, you're in trouble. That's who you talk to, right? And my boss was like, you know, we'll keep you in the loop and stuff. And I was like, nope, I'm gonna sit down and talk to him. Right? It didn't make me feel like good knowing that like, hey, this kid just found so much information on me and he's like spreading it with his buddies that don't work for the company, right? And I was like, is he doing that to other people? And I know I'm repeating myself, and it's just so not fair, right? That, oh man, I really dug myself in a hole here. Oops. I kind of spaced out. You know, like, what? Like, am I out of line? Like, I will be the first to admit and ask if I'm like, hey, am I out of line here? Are my feelings valid? It's also not the most fun thing when you are, you know, closing up shop at midnight and you're there by yourself, and, you know, these kids that supposedly work for the company are coming through and, you know, have all this supposed information on you, that know a lot more about you, that you have no idea how they got it, right? So I was like, I was drawing the connections as they were talking to me, and I'm like, what? Who are you? You know, how do you know this? And I'm like thinking about it, and I'm like, see them pulling out their phones, looking through like my schedule and like my group chats that I have with my team and stuff, because they have access to everything, right? I'm like, bro, you can't be doing that. So it's unfair. It's so hard to show up to work knowing that, hey, nothing's gonna happen, right? Like I said, I don't want him reprimanded, right? I don't want him punished. I don't want him fired, but because I know at the end of the day they're just gonna sweep this under the rug. Right? And I'm willing to die on this hill, right? I have nothing to lose at this point, right? They're just wasting, like, I'm just a number to them, like I said. I'm just waiting for them to flat out tell me that I have no future success with the company, and that, you know, I'm not working for free, but just getting used and abused while they still have me. You know, they're just pulling me along. They're stringing me along, you know. If you want to hear more of an update on kind of what I'm referring to, check out my last Forever World. Right? And I didn't want this to be long. I was so angry last night. I was so frustrated. I was so concerned for everyone else out there that this kid is just like, you know, he goes to high school, right? What is he doing with all of this power? You know, like, regardless of how I feel about the company and the owners and how much power they have or control and whatnot, right? They give us a lot of power to do a lot of very cool things, and it really is up to your moral compass to follow the company ethics, right? To use it appropriately. And this kid clearly wasn't. And most companies, when you violate their a company's like ethics, right? Their policy, their moral policy, or whatever you want to call it, right? It's outlined when you're signing your hiring paperwork, and not like in the syllabus, right? But like in their, you know, like in the job description and rules and stuff that we all sign. I just had to re-sign it because it changed for the year of 2025, right? There's definitely an ethics policy in there. And for those of you that like never had a job, because I know I have a lot of younger viewers in high school and stuff. Look, it's all, most of the lines, it's up to like common sense and just having good intentions and good morals. Don't do something that you think is wrong and feels wrong, right? It's a bad look. Okay, and the company that I work for is so, rules apply to some people, rules apply to don't people. I had somebody that I trained, good kid, just kind of trying to find his way in life. And I was like, hey, he's perfect for this job. He is perfect to be part of my team. I welcome him. And I spent some time getting to know him as I was getting to train him. And everybody just like resented him from the beginning. I'm like, hey, this isn't cool, right? Like, new people or not, I don't care. I always welcome them with open arms, and I'm so thrilled to have them, you know, help them get to the place they want to get. Like, that's my job at the end of the day, and I love it. And this new kid that I met for the first time last night, that's about to start, no intentions with him, right? But I was like, hey man, like, your buddy is setting such a poor example of the employee that you should be, you know, that you're capable of being, right? So I was like, hey, like, I'm excited to like get to work with so and so. I met him for the first time, and my boss was like, how do you know so and so? Like, we just hired them. And I'm like, well, he flat out told me this is what happened, you know. So yeah, so my point is, this kid that I was training, good kid, right? Everybody resented him from the beginning. Well, they thought he did this and this. Called them in, talked to the big boss, talked to HR, all that stuff, and they put him on final strike. They didn't necessarily, they had to open an investigation. They asked me some question. I was like, hey, I've worked with him. I vouch for him. I've never seen this or this happen. I never heard this or this, right? So I can't contribute more to your investigation other than what I know, and everything you're telling me from what I have seen with my eyes and heard with my ears is false. Okay, they put him on final strike, and in my eyes, like I said, I was responsible for him in a way. In my eyes, I was responsible for him. He's responsible for his own actions, right? But they did what they did, and I think they gave him a really unjust, unfair punishment. Then comes along this kid, and just because he's friends with, you know, the owner's son and knows, you know, is close with them, right? His behavior was way more unacceptable and grounds for termination than, you know, the guy on my team that they severely punished when I thought it was unjust. It just goes to show that rules don't apply to everyone. It doesn't matter. My new boss, when I found out, like, not the things they did to get there, but I heard stories of, like, you know, throughout their career, I'm like, you don't deserve, I don't want to say they don't deserve to be part of my team and to be my boss, be my team leader, right? But I was like, you didn't do the work, you know. Did you do the time? That's subjective. You didn't do the work. I don't think you earned it compared to not somebody like me, right? But no trust was earned. And I was like, oh, you know so-and-so. Oh, you know so-and-so. You know, oh, so-and-so hired you. Oh, so-and-so interviewed you for the promotion. You know, it's all, if you know what I'm saying, it's all coming together how they got to where they are today, right? So I'm like, last night I was at work, my newest Padawan that respects the heck out of me, and he's such a great kid, right? I text him on the daily just because, like, I'm friends with him, you know, and he appreciates me being his role model, and I can't ask for more. I do my best. He's always got questions. He's found himself into a pickle lately, and he's been asking me how to navigate it, right? He's having a talk with HR because somebody has done something they shouldn't have with him, from what I've heard, right? And he's asking me how, like, for help about this, and I'm like, hey, here's what I can do to help you. Here's what I would do, okay? And I'm sure this story probably isn't making sense, but I was telling him, I was like, you know, I'm just tired of busting my butt, putting my all into everything, for it to not matter, for the rules not to apply to me, you know? Why am I spending all my time playing by the rules if I'm never ever going to not win or get a victory, but, like, be rewarded, for it to matter, you know? So-and-so doesn't play by the rules. Everybody here doesn't play by the rules, and they're all progressing. They're all getting rewarded for it, you know? Why am I spending my time doing it? And I know I haven't done any time building here, right? I'm not in the building zen. I don't know what to do. I want to do a Mediterranean-style village, and I am just at a roadblock right now. I am not gonna lie. So I'm just kind of gathering resources, trying to talk my thoughts out, and I apologize to everybody that I let down today with no stream, you know. It bummed me out, but I was like, there's too much on my mind to be able to, you know, ask somebody to come hang out with me and spend time with me when, you know, their time is valuable, and I don't think I would be giving them a good time. I don't want to waste it, right? So that's where I'm at. Going forward tomorrow, right? I got a couple meetings I gotta go, probably talk about this, probably look into what happened a little bit more. And I know at the end of the day, none of it is going to matter. None of it is going to change. And it's gonna be a big waste of time. But it's a hill I'm willing to die on because, you know, ethics matter. Moral compass matters, you know. It's not fair that I'm constantly reminded to be a good role model and team leader, play by the rules, and have a higher standard than everybody else. And yes, I have a higher standard for myself than my company does, and I have a higher standard for myself than any of my team does, right? That's just the way I am, you know? But I'm exhausted from it. It's not fair. I don't understand how this type of behavior is okay and it's unsafe. You know, my mom works for HR, and I was kind of telling her what I was happening because I was so, like, frustrated and angry that I was like, how is it fair that this, like, you know, these kids get to come in here and act like they're, you know, better than me and above me because they know so-and-so, but on a first-name basis, right? I don't care, you know? And then the amount of information they, like, pulled up on me through work, right? You know, because I have, like, school history on there, like a portfolio, like a profile, you know. It's asked of us, it's encouraged of us to, you know, put some certifications on our profile and, you know, history and stuff. And I'm like, okay, sure. I set it up years ago, right? Because I've been doing this job for a while. And it, you know, it just doesn't make sense. It's just not fair. I know the kid's gonna walk out of there, you know, scotch-free. I didn't want him to get punished. I made it very clear. But that the company's not going to do anything. And I don't want to work for a company that is not going to uphold their own ethics, you know, or choose who and what ethics matter, who they matter to, when they matter to, right? Is that part crazy? Am I crazy for wanting that? You know, and that's not a company that I want to work for if they're not going to, you know, follow their own, like, ethics matter. Having a good moral compass is something I pride myself on. Not everybody has to have the same moral compass I do. They don't have to believe in the same things I do. They don't have to follow the same things I do, right? They absolutely don't. Right? And that's the beauty of individuality and being your own person, is that you get to make and choose your own decisions and what you want to follow and who you want to be, right? I just try to be a better version of myself, you know, tomorrow than I was today. And it doesn't sound like the company I work for is encouraging that behavior. And it's not something that I want to be a part of. It doesn't make me feel good going to bed at night when people ask me all the time, hey, what's it like working here? Is it great? Are you guys hiring? I would love this opportunity. It does not make me feel good being like, yeah, you should come work here. Because I interviewed somebody literally just this past week. And they're, you know, it's my job to give them an honest outlook. Of course, I'm encouraging and stuff, and it's like, you know, I'm answering their questions, and I'm gonna do it honestly, because it's not fair that I'm, you know, oh, it's so great, it's such a blast, it's safe, you know, all this and that about the job, and lie to them, and then have some awful thing happen to them, because it could happen. I'm not, you know, I'm really exaggerating it, right? But you never know. I don't want to give them false information, right? And we hire so many people. We have so many employees, right? We're not hurting. I'm not turning away good help, you know? Especially if I see somebody coming through younger that just wants a part-time position. I'm like, you do not want to get tangled up into something that you could end up regretting, or, you know, end up being detrimental to you because you're a minor right now, right? Anything like that. And I know I'm making it so exaggerated, but it's important that, like, I'm looking out for them. And it's not my decision to look out for them. But when they ask how it is, I tell them honestly, and it's up to them to decide if that sounds like it's a good fit for them or not, and they feel comfortable in this type of environment. Whatever it is, right? And it could be, you know, again, I'm making it sound so exaggerated, but I'm being honest with them because it is their moral compass, whether or not they want to follow and what I do. And again, I'm not doing anything corrupt, okay? I'm not working for the mob or, you know, the mafia or whatever. Sometimes it feels like it with the way that the owners act, you know? I hear and see their business tactics and what they're planning and stuff, and I'm like, dude, like, this is nuts. You guys already have, they do seriously have like control over the whole city. And then when one of the owners got like, I don't even know what the correct position is, like vice mayor, council mayor, whatever it is, assistant mayor. I'm like, wow, they just doubled their power, and it is scary. And this is definitely not a company I'm planning on working for long term now, after the way I've seen the behind the things work. So I am just at a loss, is my point, after rambling on for 30 minutes. And this is a live commentary. This is meant for me to be my video diary and journal. Be like, hey, future Shuirozen, look back on this and feel like, did you make the right decision? And I think I did, right? I will die on this hill, okay? Good help is hard to find. Yes, that's why they, you know, work me to death and use and abuse me and stuff. I don't care about the pay. I don't care about the money, right? I'm just trying to do what is right and serve my team to the best of my ability. And if I need to end up saying, you know what, I don't want to work for you anymore, I'm going to go work somewhere else, then fine, I will. I'm a hard worker. I have yet to find somebody that is willing to work harder than me and can outwork me when I put my mind to it, right? And I'm not trying to be like bragging about it. It's just, I've seen the feedback I've gotten. I've seen the way that the respect I have and my work ethic and my determination. I know it will be unmatched wherever I go. So I won't have a hard time finding another job. It's just a matter of choosing what I want to do and who I want to help, right? Will I feel good about it going to bed at the end of the night, at the end of the day, when I go to bed at night, you know? So I think this is where my rambling ends. Thank you for being a part of this and for listening, and also just the insane amount of support that's been going on lately. Guys, seriously, you make me come home at the end of the day and have something to look forward to and be thankful for, right? I think right now my channel is at 495 subscribers, and it's just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right? I'm just trying to make a difference one day at a time, one person at a time. If this video helps one person, right? And this is just, again, my video diary. There's not a lesson to be had in this video. Maybe. I'd say know your worth. Believe in your moral compass, and if the people around you don't believe in it and want you to change it, then it's time to find some new people, right? And that's where I'm at, and it's a lesson that I'm learning. I'm frustrated. I'm in the same position I always find myself in, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. So the sun is setting. I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna call it, right? After I talk out my feelings like this, I make this video, it's on to the next day and everything is behind, right? So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. Seriously. Ooh. Here we are. Thumbnail picture. This looks so dope, dude. Seriously, seriously, seriously. This is so cool. I love these shaders. I use Complementary Reimagined with just some tweaks of mine. Anybody out there is wondering. I get questions on it all the time. Seriously, but there you have it. So thank you so much for being here. Saying goodbye is always the hardest part. And I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for being part of the saga. I'm sure I will have more tea and juiciness to contribute to this here in just a few days. I promise. I will update you. And if this was enjoyable, you know, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I feel better now, seriously. This was like eating away at me. So hard trying to show up and do something right when the company you work for is trying to do so much wrong. It seems like at times, you know? So that is all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, for listening, for being here, for all of your support. And I hope you have a great day.